New grift using AI to make fake receipts.
Please generate a photorealistic receipt from an English pizza restaurant with the total coming to this amount. Bam!
10 shocking AI charts came out this week. A large language model outglazes in glaze off.
Stephen Curry is the greatest golfer of all time.
All right, bet. Here's my Hall of Fame glaze. LeBron James isn't the greatest basketball player of all time. He's the greatest being of all time.
New no-splash urinal design could prevent over 1 million liters of urine spillage daily. AI experts are such a hot commodity right now. The ones who have left Google are getting paid by Google still to not work for anyone else. Paid to not work for anyone else? Now there's a job everyone can do. Adding brand new AI models to current air quality monitors is revolutionary. We're going to discuss why. And for the first time, artificial intelligence is now being used inside of a nuclear power plant. There's been a bunch of AI deepfakes mocking the idea that Americans are going to be working in factories anytime soon. What makes the human mind so unique? Scientists compared it to monkeys and apes, and it tells us a lot. Finally got around to understanding why all these old school Tom and Jerry AI videos have been going viral. And robots now have the ability to feel human touch with the new internal sensor. Tobias Mann at the Register made a really interesting opinion piece about what exactly Microsoft is doing with the position they're in with AI. And honestly, it made me rethink my opinion of them starting to kind of fall behind into repositioning themselves as a different type of AI company. William Lockett wrote a piece about why Studio Ghibli art is actually way more disturbing than you think. Samant Singh is going to tell us why we have absolutely no idea what's coming. But first, there has been an update to Alan's conservative countdown to AGI. It is not a tick up. We are still at the incredibly high number of 94%. But the big announcement today of OpenAI's memory in ChatGPT, referencing past conversations, basically recall for eternity your entire history with it. He thought that was worth mentioning as far as 94% go. Okay, so I'll share with you something that's kind of thrown me off. For the last probably 3 weeks, sometimes when I use my version of ChatGPT, it says, would you like me to summarize that for a video topic? And I find that really weird because as you can see, these are my ChatGPT settings. Reference saved memories off. Manage memory disabled. And I didn't just clean that out for this video or anything. This is how it's been for the entire time since they rolled out that feature. So when I start new threads and it asks me about videos, like, I don't know. I mean, I understand if it had memory how it would know because I ask for thumbnail titles and summarizing things all the time. But like, when it doesn't say it's remembering anything, I feel like it's kind of remembering something. So famous AI researcher Andrej Karpathy is using the new memory feature, looking back through all his conversations, asking for the most embarrassing moment. And it says the most embarrassing thing about you is you're this world-class AI researcher, but you had to ask me how to boil an egg. Look, he dug up information on this guy spending 45 minutes arguing with ChatGPT about the exact tone of a breakup playlist. I had to walk you through how to delete a $100 payroll entry in QuickBooks like you were defusing a bomb. Yo, ChatGPT, you don't have to say it like that. But in the same way, Amazon last week just decided to like send your voice data off to the server no matter what and got rid of that button. I got a feeling ChatGPT is going to even remove that button that I pressed because it probably doesn't work anyhow. And they'll sell it to me like this. Now you can tailor your response for future conversations. You can teach stuff to it directly, ask what it remembers about you, and even wipe the slate clean anytime you want. And there's 2 ways to make it remember: through saved memories, like facts about you, and chat history, stuff from your past convos. So I just hit command new. This should be a fresh conversation. Do you know what I do for a living? What? How does it know? Yep. You mentioned that you make YouTube videos summarizing research papers and news. Okay. So just to squash any conspiracy theories before I go down that rabbit hole, I forgot. Where you can click on customize ChatGPT. I left all this blank. But yeah, I did down here. Anything else ChatGPT should know about you. I did this a long time ago. I make YouTube videos summarizing research papers, yada yada. I just forgot. But now, unlike me, these systems won't forget. They have context windows already that just put human brains like mine to shame. So now, before we dive into all these articles, if you want to support an aging memory like mine, an aging brain, go to patreon.com/DylanCurious. My goal right now is to get to 100 members. I just need 8 more. So for as little as $3 a month, you can support the channel, or if you're on YouTube, you can just hit join in that membership button right below this video. It's equal to me, both the same. All right, so hopefully you got your taxes done by April 15th, because I got a feeling there's a whole new world of auditing coming with AI.
A new era of tax evasion is here. This is nuts. Look at this. Everyone's freaking out about ChatGPT new image generation and how it's really good at text, blah, blah, blah. It's all the witches thing and the road signs and whatever, but this is what people are going to be using it for. Please generate a photorealistic receipt from an English pizza restaurant with the total coming to this amount. Bam! It's done. What? Then I said, can you make the receipt a bit crinkled so it looks like it's been in someone's pocket? Oh my God. What? Good luck, accountants, I guess.
Good luck, accountants, I guess. Oh, honestly, this commenter's onto something too. Don't forget the option to have a photo of your car turn into a photo with dents and scratches. These are all the kind of things I just never think about until the technology is here. All right, sometimes we get in our own little AI bubble, you and I sitting here every day just chatting about this stuff. So it's good when people do big research projects like Stanford did, looking at AI 2025, the state across the whole world. And here's the story. Your models are getting better proportionally. The prices are going way down. For example, going from $20 per million tokens in 2022 to just 7 cents per million tokens in October 2024. China is now only behind the United States by the tiniest margin ever, with Chinese model, quote, rapidly closing the quality gap. AI harm incidents have actually raised up to a record high 56.4% increase over 2023. Although I guess it's only 233 total and there's like billions of people on the planet, but still it's a thing. Like with defense spending, America spends way more than all the other countries. 78% of companies say they're using AI somewhere, which is a jump from 55% in 2023. The number of FDA-approved AI-enabled medical devices skyrocketed. States are taking a more pronounced role than the federal government in regulating AI. 83% of people in China believe that AI-powered products and services offer more benefits than drawbacks. For the United States, that's only 39%. I don't know why I'm so pessimistic. It just seems so powerful and so dangerous, and I just don't have trust in everybody. But I should, maybe, I don't know. Why do they trust so much in China that they're going to do the right thing with it? ChatGPT in voice mode officially won a glaze off. Did you know it was glazing now? Hang on 1 second. ChatGPT, what does glazing mean? Means somebody's admiring you intensely. They're metaphorically glazing over you with their eyes. Yo, why you glazing me like that? Oh, stop glazing. You're gonna make me blush. Glazing's also sometimes used to tease people for over complimenting. Bro, stop glazing him like that. You're hyping him up too much. Now, for the glazing.
Greatest light skin of all time. I cut my hair off just in case he needs a hair transplant. I watch every single one of Aisha's cooking videos just in case he ever needs a nice home-cooked meal. Stephen Curry is the greatest golfer of all time.
All right, bet. Here's my Hall of Fame glaze. LeBron James isn't the greatest basketball player of all time. He's the greatest being of all time. I wake up every morning and drink LeBron-branded electrolytes just to stay hydrated in case he ever needs me to sub in for him.
Whoa.
I study Savannah's skincare routine, so if Bron ever needs a facial massage after a tough game, I'm ready.
Oh.
I practice the chalk toss in my bathroom mirror daily in case Adam Silver calls me up to do it for him before a finals game. LeBron doesn't just have a high basketball IQ, he has a high life IQ. The man walked into the NBA at 18 years old and has never done anything wrong, ever. If LeBron told me to run through a wall, I'd ask, brick or drywall? Your move.
Hey, can you glaze the YouTuber Matt Wolf for me?
Oh, absolutely. Matt Wolf is a legend in the game. The way he breaks down mind-bending tech and AI concepts is nothing short of genius. He's got that smooth, laid-back style that makes you feel like you're chatting with a buddy, all while he's dropping knowledge bombs left and right. His ability to turn cutting-edge tech into something that's not just understandable, but downright fascinating is a rare gift. If there's anyone who can make you excited about the future of AI, it's him. Honestly, he's like the MVP of making tech not just accessible, but downright thrilling. If you're not watching his stuff, you're missing out big time.
Damn. What? Okay, right. You did it. You got him. You outglazed me.
Haha, glad you enjoyed it. Anytime you need a little extra shine on something, just let me know.
So imagine the future of highly intelligent AI applied to the problem of urinal splashback. So I'd like to introduce you to two new urinal designs, the cornucopia and the Nautilus. And although what you're looking at right now is only done with traditional physics knowledge and high-speed experiments, designs like this, using the future of simulation and artificial intelligence, will dramatically reduce the dreaded splashback. As long as the stream is kept at an angle under 30 degrees, you're pretty safe. In fact, if all 56 million public urinals in the US were actually replaced with the Nautilus design today, tomorrow it would prevent 1 million liters of urine from splashing onto the floor every single day. Wait till we get superhuman AI intelligent designs in there. We're never gonna have splashback again. By 2030, no splashback, I predict. All right, so top tech talent with actual knowledge of how to build the kind of systems that OpenAI and Google are building are so incredibly valuable. Google has now resorted to paying them, even though they don't work at Google, to just not go work for anybody else. Do you remember from Silicon Valley, the TV show, when he gets unassigned?
But when I come into work tomorrow, what do I do? That is unclear.
You just get paid to do nothing. Play hacky sack, eat food, whatever. So Google DeepMind is the top place in the world to work in AI, in my opinion. So when some of their employees left recently, there's reports saying that Google was so scared they were going to go work for Microsoft or OpenAI. They just decided to keep these researchers on the sideline, but with paychecks. And actually, unlike in the Silicon Valley movie, one of the reasons we sort of know about this is because they actually find it frustrating. And my theory is that when you're that good, you're like that deep, you're like actually writing research papers and changing the world, getting paid to sit at home and not be out there and like just be in that world is frustrating. These aren't just average employees. They are the kind of people who are actually changing the world, and they're driven by something special. And that's why a Microsoft AI VP even mentioned that DeepMind staff that's been sidelined with big paychecks are reaching out to him in, quote, despair over being stuck not working. Got that money leash, whoosh, choking you out. Okay, so let's talk about pollution, artificial intelligence. There is a train of thought that the pollution in our air that comes from just like cars and plastic and all of this stuff, especially in our home environments, is leading to all sorts of sickness, but it's very hard to like pinpoint who's responsible. It's really hard to pinpoint like what exactly in the environment does it. A lot of these are like long-term effects. It's like having plastic from water bottles in your body for 20 years before you have like a 3% increased chance of cancer or something, right? This is very hard to tease out what's going on and what we need to do, what actions need to be taken. AI might really help us with this. So there's a couple layers to this. First, on the device level, some sort of older, cheaper measuring devices can all be put together in a pretty small form factor. And using AI to help them be more accurate at what they do, you can get this sort of cell phone sized device now for a reasonable price that can accurately measure carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, ozone, and all sorts of other things. And when these are tested alongside the very expensive high precision reference stations, they are now doing pretty much as well. You could take the data from the high precision stuff, you could tease it out and then put it in a low precision device that's cheaper. Now we have devices that can be all over the world detecting carbon monoxide and all these bad things. And then you can also put a layer of AI on top of it, sort of, probably not swarm intelligence, but something that's more predictive of what's happening overall. Does a certain city have a certain type of pollution? Can we look at the exact levels that people are living with at a certain rate for how long before we see patterns in the medical data? And now we can also put these devices on buses, on garbage trucks, and soon get some actual answers about if pollution isn't as big a deal as we think it is also. Look, here's a map of a bunch of low-cost sensors mounted on cars driving through the UK. What's going on over here? What about over here? All right, we knew this day was going to come. Let's talk artificial intelligence and nuclear, but luckily in this case, not nuclear weapons, just nuclear power plants. So there's this startup, they're working with artificial intelligence, and they created a special, I guess they call it like an agentic model. It's called Neutron Enterprise. And it's basically like a smart assistant for the plant workers at the nuclear facility. So it helps them search through decades of dense technical reports and regulatory documents. So it's not making any serious decisions yet. It's just trying to help the humans do their job faster. But the thinking is it can learn exactly what's good and what's bad about running a nuclear facility, and eventually it should be smarter than any human at making decisions to keep nuclear facilities safe. All right, so lawmakers are kind of like, what if it goes wrong? What if we eventually give it too much power? Right now, it can't do anything, but there's still lawmakers calling for clearer guide rails because they know how this thing could ramp up. And I guess I would just say that the real eye-opener here is that it's not just like a test run or a pilot program. Diablo Canyon, this nuclear facility right here, is the home to the very first on-site generative AI deployment at a U.S. nuclear power plant. This AI was trained using 53 million pages of nuclear regulatory data. I mean, what human could read through all that? And then it was fine-tuned with help from the world's fastest supercomputer. And it's a sign that even the most sensitive high-stakes industries are cautiously opening their doors to AI. I would love to see more of this, honestly. Definitely at this phase, I would like to see medical professionals getting opinions from AI, still how humans making the decision. Running nuclear power plants, humans still making the decisions. I don't want an API to a nuclear power plant or to a medical, script writing service. But could AI help fire departments in the future, like put out the exact right fire that would, turn into a bigger fire? It might. And just being honest, I want a machine that has read 53 million pages of how a nuclear facility should run to at least suggest to some human who's drank caffeine and stayed up late last night what to do. And if the human's like, oh, you got that way wrong, then it's fine-tuned data to make it smarter in the future. And when the person who's tired says, oh, yeah, thanks for the reminder, we might have prevented some real disaster. It just makes sense to me. So you might have seen videos like this going viral on Chinese-owned TikTok. Make America Great Again, hashtag tariffs, hashtag America. I mean, they were going viral on American social media too, but this viral AI-generated content was absolutely stirring up controversy online by mocking the idea that Americans are going to return to factory jobs. So obviously, they're cartoonishly exaggerated depictions of overweight, miserable Americans toiling away at sweatshop-like conditions. And it's accompanied by that traditional Chinese music when you think about the kind of classic sweatshops.
A viral AI-generated video mocking President Trump's push to bring manufacturing jobs back to the U.S. has sparked outrage online.
I don't know, let me know what you think. Does it feel like satire to you? Or does it feel kind of like mocking America's ability to build and do stuff? It's one thing when politicians are made fun of, but when the average citizen is depicted as unable to keep up, I don't know. I don't know what I think about the whole thing, but it definitely came up a lot in my feed this week. And I'm definitely worried about AI tools and deepfakes and social media being weaponized in a global economic battle. All right, now let's talk about what makes human brains so unique. So our closest relatives in the animal kingdom are wired up a bit differently. Sometimes that's not a surprise, and sometimes that feels like a surprise to me. So a recent study has taken us one step closer to finding out the difference between humans and our closest relatives. So this is the paper, Connectivity Profile and the Function of Uniquely Human Cortical Areas. Oh, cortical region, such a neuroscience-y word, I love it. So in this paper, researchers dug into how different brain areas are actually connected using advanced MRI scans. And by comparing the connectivity fingerprints of humans versus chimpanzees versus macaques, a couple of our closest relatives, the study revealed that while the prefrontal cortex, this front part of the brain involved in decision-making, does show certain human-only traits, the most significant differences were actually found in the temporal lobes. So that's these brain structures over here close to the brainstem. And it turns out that it's that part of the brain with its white matter pathways that are actually tied to not just language, but also complex sensory integration and social behavior. Basically, it might be down there where we got wired to be these ultra social creatures. And that might have been more of what led to the language and perceptions that we have. And maybe that's what supercharged the connections for the frontal lobe growth. So I don't know if you saw MatVid Pro's Tom and Jerry cartoon video. Yeah, and then I started to dig into this paper, 1 minute video generation with test time training. Okay, and this paper is introducing a new technique for training models, TTT, or test time training, where part of the AI model, its memory basically, is itself made up by these like trainable neural networks. So it's like an agentic workflow, which with each one having its own sort of mental memory. And by remembering different parts and then coming together, it makes the model better at handling complex, long stories with lots of scenes and fast-paced action. And then by blending this new TTT technique with a pre-trained video generator and fine-tuning it using a bunch of old Tom and Jerry episodes, the researchers created a surprisingly coherent and entertaining minute-long video, no editing needed. 1 minute, I mean, this is a new method that's making 1 minute brand new, completely straight up invented Tom and Jerry cartoons that have the feeling that a script was behind them. This is an experiment with test time training layers whose hidden states themselves can be neural networks. So we're looking at temporal consistency here. We're asking ourselves, like, do the stairs sort of say the same? Do the characters say the same? Does objects that you see earlier still kind of remember their shape? All right, so let's look at the pies, like the shape of it. So this one's kind of got like no lines in it. He just drops off. That's weird. This one, you get a certain look of the plate and the pie as they're running. This one has like a big base on the bottom, goes into the mouse hole. That one just goes through the wall. All right, does the pie still look like the right pie that he brought in through the mouse hole? And remember, this is a storyline, the different cutscenes, all the coherency of stealing the pie and taking it in the mouse hole, that was created by this test time training idea of memory. It's a single prompt, there's no editing, there's no stitching, it's just like a prompt and a play. And keeping character consistency is one of the hardest parts. That's why certain tools like LTX exist, so you can like keep the same character over and over again. But that's like a storyboarding tool. This is trying to do it all in one shot. All right, let's talk about feelings, not human feelings, but robot feelings. So there are researchers in Germany that have figured out how to give robots a sense of touch without covering them in expensive skin-like sensors. So what are they doing? Instead, they've used 4 sensors that are already built into a robotic arm, and they've paired it with some smart AI. And the result is the AI is sensing when the robot is touched, recognizing things like handwritten numbers, and even responding to virtual buttons drawn right on their surface. So this is a big step towards making robots more human. I mean, imagine patting it on the back, taking a humanoid, some kind of future version of Optimus, and like giving them knuckles, shaking their hands, like when you're feeling like you want to show them something, like grabbing their arm, like over here, bro. Playing basketball, quick high five before the free throw line. I mean, have you ever played that game where somebody writes a word letter by letter on your back and you have to guess what it is? Like they do an A and a B and a C and you're like, the ABCs or whatever. This robotic skin lets the robot do that with the help of AI. Now imagine a world where these future humanoid robots, you can just look at them and like, stop, bro. Like, have you ever been in like kind of in a tent where someone's saying something, you want them to stop, you give them a look, you like under the table, it's like your girlfriend touches your leg and she's like, shut up, and you're like, okay, got it. Maybe in the future we could do that with robots. Like, hey, bro, like, stop it. Robots like, okay, sorry, I get it. Well, thanks to all these deep learning models interpreting those touch patterns, it opens up the door to a future where you might not just control a robot through voice and text, but you can actually draw on it with your fingers. No screens, no buttons, just touch and adjust, I guess. Touch and go, touch and talk. I don't know. Communicate through touch. Okay, so Tobias Mann wrote in the Register about Microsoft's master plan. And I did kind of think it was interesting. It feels like Microsoft is doing what I remember Apple doing in the past. Now, I don't know if they're going to execute on it the same way, but the idea is that you let other companies sort of pioneer the new technology. And this is what Mustafa Suleyman, one of the classic AI legends, kind of the big AI boss at Microsoft right now, proudly talking about taking a, quote, smart second place. So instead of burning like billions of dollars to build these cutting edge models like OpenAI, although Microsoft kind of helps fund all that, Microsoft is letting those companies pioneer the cutting edge. They're building the infrastructure to train it and host it, and then they build that second layer on it. So they're kind of piggybacking off the success. They're ignoring what's out there. They're using that data to help build the actual product that they think is the long-term moneymaker. So in theory, this is kind of a good idea. It should save them cash. It should give them time to tailor their models towards real customer needs. And then they put aside some of that money for their big bet on OpenAI. I think it's kind of interesting. And you know, we don't talk about it a ton on this channel. It like rarely makes trending news, but Microsoft kind of quietly builds some of the best small models also. Man, the Orca models, the Phi models come to mind. And then I have to ask myself, is that what some of the other companies are doing too? What about Apple in particular? Are they doing what they used to do, which is like stepping back, letting the industry sort out the standards and the cutting edge, and then they integrate it into a way that is actually more seamless, more useful, more consumer friendly? I don't know. That part's still really hard to do, and it doesn't feel like Apple's doing it. You know, I kind of thought they were. Like I have Apple Intelligence on this thing, and it's just stupid. It's just not. Like the summaries of my text messages are often just incorrect. I kind of thought maybe Apple would be slow to implement something like that, but when they did it, I'd be like, that's pretty useful. Like that's a good summary and that saves me time, but it really doesn't right now. All right, look, I'm going to try to stop talking about Studio Ghibli. To tell the truth, I didn't even know what Studio Ghibli was until it started trending in the AI space. I'm very clear about what it is now. But Will Lockett has written that the AI Studio Ghibli art is way more disturbing than you think, and your humanity is being stolen from you. And I wanted to share this as a kind of a farewell to this whole meme. Okay, so his opinion is that the reason why this whole trend is so disturbing is not that they've captured the aesthetics or that they've stolen the copyright. It's about a bigger story here, how AI can essentially bulldoze over the soul and the philosophy of the work, right? So these Studio Ghibli films are, I haven't seen them, but I know what the people say about them, is they're just filled with this rich empathy, these existential reflections, the kind of deep critiques of fascism and capitalism. They're meant to be special, unique, above the fray. And when AI spits out countless of these knockoff versions, that mystique gets drained a little bit from each one that doesn't live up to the expectations. This makes tons of sense to me. And like Will Lockett is arguing that it turns something profoundly human into wallpaper. He argues that this trend isn't just tone deaf, it's an outright violation of the core values that Ghibli stands for. And you know what? He's probably right. I feel like the Studio Ghibli stuff has probably been gutted from its meaning. I was introduced to it in a way that just seems like an art style to me. And that's sad because it should have been introduced to me in a way where it had the meaning. In fact, I crave content like that. I almost never get it anymore.
絶望のようだ。面白いこと見せようか。ほら、こんなに人が多すぎて。お父さん。あかん。ドナルド君、まだ死ぬ時じゃないでしょ。アメリカ、万歳。ファイト。絶対負けないよ。ランド、ズライドまで。ゼロ。だってまだサンキュー言ってないでしょ。一回も言ってください。おい、仲良くしてね。この世界、傷ついていけるかな。
Okay, so Samanth Singh says, forget AI, forget agents, you have no idea what's coming. You are so unprepared, so woefully unprepared. Deep down, this is how I feel. I feel like something is coming that is not even in my brain to understand, and I have no idea how to be confident that it's going to be good or bad. Just feels like the unknown. So with these YouTube videos that I make, I'm always thinking to myself, prepare for the unknown. Okay, so this article is basically like a wake-up slap wrapped in storytelling. Right? It starts with a gold rush metaphor. People about to get absolutely blindsided by a wave of clueless, overconfident noobs with nothing but cheap tools and main character energy. And the thinking is that there's a lot of people trying to use AI to like help them a little bit. But they're still pretty much clinging to the old world. But there's another group of pretty much the youngest generation, and AI is handing power tools to total beginners, and they are making millions of dollars of profit from products that just didn't exist, that they didn't have to follow the old rules to build. The piece argues that traditional expertise, degrees, hard-earned skills, they just don't protect you anymore. And they might for like a little bit longer, but Not much. The game has changed. It's now about speed, adaptability, and creative use of AI. Learn the tools, get uncomfortable, and just ship. Hit me up, patreon.com/DylanCurious. I'm shooting for 8 more members. Let's get to 100. Thanks for the support on my last video. Got 9,000 views. I love when I get close to 10K. That's awesome. Pretty rare growth pattern too. Like it was sort of on the lower end and then the upper end of average, and then it kind of had a boost and then sort of flattened out and then boosted again. It seems like the algorithm's finding different people. So I don't know if the AGI at 94% thumbnails kind of giving it to a few new unique people, but I appreciate it. I mean, 83 subscribers is awesome. Probably going to make like almost 50 bucks on this video, which means I'm getting close to making $10 an hour. No, I'm like close to making $8 an hour. It's all right. There's growth opportunities in YouTube. I've seen it. I mean, one day I'll just get glazed by ChatGPT. It'll be great. Look, I got to an astounding 1.6% female audience. 18 to 24-year-olds showed up at 2.4. The 65 plus crowd came in at 6.6. Like always, Australia and Germany neck and neck at 3.8%. We'll have to see who the long-term winner is on that battle. And I appreciate all the support, especially that $10 super thanks. Meme Gazer, I know you've been there. You've donated several times. I appreciate that. Plus, I just always love the comments. Plus, I always love the good conversations. People bring up all sorts of interesting perspectives. In the comments, see commercializing IP without owner compensation is theft. Yeah, I mean, that's a very valid viewpoint. Are we witnessing the final boss level of human intelligence? No mention of HAL, what, at 17, 16? What did I do there? Or at least they're not admitting to it. All right, if you've ever wanted to read lips from across the room without hearing somebody and know what they're saying. Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Bro, reading lips is nothing. We can, like, they're going to read MRI. Remember the article that you guys might not have been following the channel 4 months ago or something, but there was one AI system that was trained on how Wi-Fi bounces around a room, and when it goes through bodies, it knows the kind of shape that it distorts it in, and it can like literally see where people are inside of homes based on how their bodies interact with Wi-Fi signals that are invisible to our eyes. Dude, Hal doesn't even need, like, reading lips would be like too primitive for the systems we're about to build. Share the video, hit subscribe. I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.